I am kind of excited for this. I've been working on behind the scenes a workflow that is going to turn my transcripts of the React content into video essays. I do think a lot, but I think about individual things and I go on tangents, as I want to do. And every time I try to rectify that and semi that live, the Reacts don't perform as well. And corralling my mind takes a long time. And so I have a situation where I have the knowledge and I have the thoughts and the ideas, but organizing them is difficult. Well, what I do for the day job is I code. And so I've been trying to use and learn how to use large language models to parse my transcripts and organize them into different structures. And I got really into theory because I like theory. I don't know if you noticed. I might be a nerd. And so I learned and have been learning a lot the last 2 to 3 months about different kinds of written structures. I got into the persuasive essay format, the hero's journey format. Then I found the sweet spot. I found Dramatica, which is like a giant textbook on how to write a screenplay. And I've been playing around with these different ideas. And this is the first video essay that I'm doing where I'm really trying to nail the structure and then get there's a little plug there. Get the structure and then execute really well on the delivery of the words. I think that the Versus video for the Mariah vs. Beyonce Versus video, I didn't quite enjoy it. As I was delivering the words, and I wrote everything, so I will feed it into a large language model, instruct it to use my words. Inevitably, it screws up, right? It's not a vocal professional. It's not, it's just kind of, it's better than starting on an empty page, right? So I rewrote everything in the Versus video. But it turns out I'm not a very good writer. And so I've taken some time, like, why? Why didn't it work? Why did I hate it so much? And I realized that I wanted to frame vocal technique and musicianship and decision-making in musicianship to be a little bit more personal to the artist. And that requires me to tell their story a little bit. And then on top of that, the word choices that I made were not informed with a structure of their own or a style or a voice of their own. So I've been working on getting different styles. So this is the one that I worked the most on. This is 2 different skeletons. And this is the one I worked the most on for this upcoming video with the Clark sisters. Tagged everything meticulously with Dramatica, and then I used, this is something I learned in acting classes at Temple, is that by attaching a verb and an intention to a line, you give it a little bit of a life. You have intention behind the delivery. So I started doing that, and just like tagging everything. I've been busy. I've been having a good time. Okay. So, and then I thought to myself, well, I can't just have me talking, right? I can't just have me talking. How do I choose clips? Because remember, the algorithm, this is not a very large niche that I'm in. Niche being, singing. No voice teacher does video essays, not really. there are people who will do thought pieces and video essays for like the story of the artist, and those will do well. But the people who care about technique and voice, it's like there's just not enough people to care about that for the effort of a video essay to be worthwhile. Unless, like, and I'm not gonna do AI slop garbage. Like, I'm just not gonna do that. Like, I'll use it as a tool, but I'm not gonna just like, you do my job. Like, because the second I can't beat it is the second I'm unemployed, right? Like that's a scary premise. I have to make sure I can beat this thing every single time. So the delivery is one way I'm doing that. Making sure that the words are mine via transcripts. And then, when I deliver them, kind of fudge it. Like, use these more as like bullet points and talking points as opposed to like saying these things verbatim. And so I have two here. This is the one I worked on more, and this is the one I have yet to. I made this prompt a lot more focused on using my transcripts and playing for my transcripts. And I haven't put any verb tags in here. And I've been working on trying to develop a style by being very clear about what I like and I don't like. Because I think by being clear about what I want, I can better write. So immediately what I don't like about this, and what I thought would be fun, would be more, I hesitate to say hyperbolic adjectives, but that is appropriate. So hesitation aside, that is an accurate description. That this use of the word revolution is hyperbolic. And it's distracting from the point, which is the whole point of the hero's journey, of the beginning of a piece, is to establish where you're at. Like, what's the setting, right? So I have to establish the setting. And so Dramatica has it to where there's the setup. So I set up the setting, and I have to make sure that I set it, I declare, these are variable, these are contextual, but I chose to establish the universe and set up the potential. Then there is the revelation that results from the setup. This is Dramatica. And the revelation is that the conflict is mental and that there is resistance. So their mother, Dr. Mattie Moss Clark, was a classically trained musical genius. So that's about her mind. She saw the limitations of the old world and possess a new blueprint based on her formidable beliefs. So that's AI bullshit and jargon nonsense, right? Like the use of the word formidable in attachment with beliefs is nonsense, right? So like I'll be correcting things like that. And then the limitations, I don't like what limitations, right? This is another thing I do is I go through and I'm like, I like to qualify everything when I talk in my videos, right? I'm obnoxious. Truly obnoxious. So I like to qualify everything. So if I'm going to use the word limitation, what's the limitation? Also, I need to where I can get the primary source, because I'm saying it, but I'm uncomfortable speaking on behalf of Mattie Moss Clark. Where does she say that? Does she use the word limitations? How does she put it? By breaking up, what's nice about something like Dramatica is that by breaking it up into like where every sentence or two has a purpose, I can get to the details in a way that I just would struggle to otherwise. And I can get into the minutia. And then it challenges me to keep it within this like limit, because I talk too much often. which we all know. Hey, Ralph. For some reason, your comment got deleted just now. Wasn't sure if that was you. But it is no worries. If it isn't, let me know on Discord, because I don't want I don't want people's stuff to get deleted for no reason. Like, why is she a musical genius? Right? Like, if we go back to qualifying these statements, like, why is she a musical genius? What did she do? Okay, so she was classically trained. How do we know that? Right? What was her training? Saw the limitations of the old world, and possessed a new blueprint. What's blueprint mean? What the hell does that mean, right? So, by doing this with every single statement that is made here, I get to really dig in and get specific. And I like that. So I'm excited to work on this. So right off the bat, I do have a Gemini prompt that was looking for, I have it doing a for loop. These things, like, they can talk in code. So I have a for loop going. And so I can see if it, this is the first time I'm looking at this report. Potential universe, the sisters grew up, okay. And then I didn't have it describe what this link is. Okay. Like, this is a cool idea. I'd still rather use, so this is, the premise of the script is that the Clark sisters, like, gospel, they weren't the first to, and I did this for the acapella video that I did recently. There was a singer and choir director famous in gospel for, like, making more contributions to what harmony was considered interesting, or like the harmonic vocabulary of, I think I actually have them in the first one that I edited. Let me get back to that. Did I not? I have the clips somewhere. This is another thing, is it forces me to get organized on an event by event basis. Where's clips? Also, the video editor forces me to get organized, which is nice. Oops, that's the live stream. Act 1, clips. Really? I wanted to give a shout out to, it was on the recent video that I did this. I think it's good that I do this, because now I'm going to get organized. I'm hesitant to say Tori. For decades, gospel sound was the unified power of a massive choir, while pioneers like Thomas A. Dorsey, there we go. So the lack of a reference of Dorsey there is a problem. What I've been enjoying has been, as I go through this process, so we should mention Dorsey here. Let me just have this note, mention Dorsey. while I go through this process, I like to do live streams. So, you know, I've done a lot on the Clark sisters, so I have all these transcripts, and so this thing gets written, and then I end up having these things like, okay, like unisons, right? Okay, so like these things that we were talking about with she's a classically trained genius, right? It would have been nice to have a live stream where I discuss her training, where I like listen to her talk, watch interviews, stuff like that. And then I can have more of my thoughts and more of that context. And so it kind of gets into this feedback loop where the reacts feed the initial structure, but then I go through and I have these questions, right? And so each act, so the hero's journey format has 12 scenes in it, in its structure. And so every grouping of 4 is an act. And so for each act, I try to do a live stream, which I did recently, although I just ended up throwing out basically the entire previous script, much to the chagrin of my video editor, I tell you what. I might have put the clips actually in another... let me see if this is it. Is this the other one? No, this... so this is it. Okay. I might have... Yeah. So I have a bunch of clips for each act, and I distill. I have the I basically go through Gemini because Gemini has access to YouTube. Hey, Damien. So I have for each event in the script, I have Gemini look up possible footage, and then I download that footage, turn it into a transcript, and then I have a script that yoinks the relevant portion of that clip to that. So I always would tell anyone I would collaborate with that I don't make videos, I make processes and workflows. And the reason being is because when you can systematize an approach and make it really efficient, you can do things like make a video essay on the Clark sisters that maybe only gets 1,000 views, but you just make like, you know, you make a lot of them. And so you can have the quality by systematizing everything and just being so much more efficient than other people. And by doing that, you can cover artists and cover topics in this more kind of like this higher barrier to entry and initial effort and setup for a video essay, but do it in a way that's so fast that you can have that level of quality despite it not having large reach. Because there's just not a lot of people who are usually interested in the technical minutia that I get into. And I kind of have to accept that. But you know, I want to make better videos because I'm tired of React content. So it's like a whole bunch of reasons anyway. So I'm in another life I would have been an engineer because I'm tinkering with a bunch of this stuff. So yeah, this is a lot of fun for me. I'm going to export this in docs and then add it into the tab on this. So let's go back to the tab here. We're going to stick with this one. This will work. And we're going to do outline, B-roll, or qualify. And we're just going to copy this and put it here. Okay. Listen to a couple seconds of this. Well, that is a problem with Gemini, isn't it? So that link doesn't work. So instead we'll do the clip here that we did. Footage. Act one, clips. This is the Harlem Community Choir. So we'll do this. And replace that. Now let's see if this video is available. I'm having a fun time. Hey, Cherish. And thanks, Nate. Yeah, I'm having a fun time with the Clark sisters. Nice, so this does work. So I'll check this for I'm a musical genius with a specific blueprint. All right, not bad. Kind of just doing a little bit of an overview. There's a footage audio of Mary Moss Clark teaching the choir. You should include that. I also have a React video already to her conducting and singing, I think, as well. Teaching the choir. Do you know which? Do you know if that you have a title for that one in mind, Cherish? I don't know if you're allowed to put links in live stream. I mean, YouTube automatically does that to protect like from spamming. But if there's a title for that on YouTube, I wouldn't mind that. Hey, not your friend. I wish it would have spaced this out better, but that's okay. Okay, so event 3 is event 3. Subject your daughters to famous riggering training, saying. This might be. Oh, is this a TikTok? We have. There's the video. I have another clip for this. If not, it doesn't work. Oh my God! Stop it, TikTok. Always worried about DMCA.
That's cute. I took some of their playtime. If I felt like I was writing a number, I wake up in the middle of the night. I wake them up so I can try it out on them.
Wow. Do you feel that they missed out on anything, not being able to do perhaps what other girls would do, or do you feel the benefits of traveling as a family and singing together more than made up for that?
Well, I think they...
I think this works really splendidly. Singing with Karen. Center My Joy. That'd be wonderful. Thank you for the help, y'all. Like getting the B-roll is the hardest part because I have to sift through a lot of footage. So this helps. Oh wow, you weren't kidding. This is mad grainy. The mic toss. There we go. This level of quality, no way it's copywritten. Was it? Oh, where did I go here? Here we go. Grew up in a world. I always have to check if something is copywritten. I can only listen to like little bits at a time. So happy to do that, of course, but just that's it. Dang. Man, so I haven't heard young Matty Moss Clark yet. So this is actually really good for like the musical genius bit. So I'm gonna do. Well, it should be mentioned. A lot of their everything comes from studying her will help you study them. Yeah, for sure. I probably need a live stream just dedicated to Matty Moss Clark, and then that's usually how I go about doing things. Dorsey is important because I'd want to be realistic with their contributions. Like, there were other people before the Clark sisters doing interesting things in gospel music. Gospel music didn't need the Clark sisters to like save it or anything like that, right? Like, and I want to make sure that comes across. So mentioning Dorsey is important. She's a super soprano known for singing in Matty's choir and led many of Matty's. Okay. Appreciate that clarification. God, that's really hard to see. Oh my god. There's got to be like video stabilization that I can use in Resolve. Is this the person singing? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think gospel for me is healing. And I get, so that's the positive. The negative is I tend to be a little obsessive and uncompromising. I don't like this script has been done. It was done 2 weeks ago, but I didn't like it. And it's not a matter of perfectionism. It's a matter of like, what do I want to accomplish with this piece of content? And so I had to ask that question. And the thing is that like everyone who watches always knows more about, like, the collective of the internet knows a lot about this topic. I know a lot about technique. I'm decent for a singer. I'm pretty good with written theory. My oral needs work. I'm a decent actor for most singers, but like fandom knowledge is like not my thing. So I have to put work into that. And if that gets people to care about the technique and the musicianship and stuff like that, and I get to like make React content that people like and I like as well, great, right? It's just like a really efficient workflow. And also indulges my need to, if I'm not like qualifying and like, did I just say that? Did I pull that out of my ass? That's just going to bother me. Things will slip through the cracks all the time, always, but like I've misspoke and there's wrong information on this channel, but I don't like to do it. Maddie starts it off and then pass the mic. Okay, that's Maddie. Wow. She's got a really rich voice. That was the wrong one. What's this one right here? It's not much information about when specifically this is, but it's good enough that we can say that like it's old enough. That's going well, Defiant. I was hoping to establish a bit of a track record of consistency before I came to you with my with some questions I have for a video essay on codfish. I wanted to get into specifically the switching. We've discussed this before, where codfish is able to go from vibration to throat bass to singing very rapidly. And given the interview with Blaylock, where we go over throat bass and vibration bass specifically, I can like anatomically point to why it's impressive. Like it's hard, we know it's hard, but like why? And now I know enough to do that. So I was going to do a video essay, but I wanted to, you know, I wanted certain things to get your stamp of approval because you know you're the beatboxing guy. So yeah. that's after I finish up with the Clark Sister video essay. That was my next thing, was beatboxing. I was gonna cycle between pop, gospel, and beatboxing, and then I was probably gonna add a fourth of either. I'm torn because I want to cover Jasmine, people like Jasmine Sullivan, people who are not pop, but they're not gospel, but they might have originated from gospel. That's its own like sub niche of like people who watch my videos. Like I make so many different videos. I get a lot of people who watch the channel, and I don't want to let anyone down. So yeah, but like anyway, I was gonna cycle between those three, but I also need to be a musician, and I have a TikTok. Boom. The theme of that video is, can a boomer opera singer go viral on TikTok? Yeah. So I have all of these scripts that make video essays. In fact, I actually made an app. Or not video essay, sorry. I'm working on the video essay app, but I made an app specifically for music videos. So I moved on from my OBS shenanigans, and like with the power of automation, I have this app which will like help me, you know, make more music videos more quickly. And then my dad, when he passed, he had 2 MacBooks, so I used I'm using one to run the audio into the RC505, so I can make stuff like faster than I used to. So even faster. Might as well put it to use at this fucking point. Anyway, y'all. So for those who don't know, I got started on the internet by making music videos. I got my Instagram back. Huzzah! That took a while, but anyway. Thanks for stopping in, y'all. Literally, I only ever go live to chat with you, so I appreciate it. This is when she got her leg amputated. Oh my, I didn't know she had her leg amputated. That's heavy, and I'm probably maybe worth pointing out at some point. Classically trained musical genius. Where did she study? This is the problem. I'm going to be spending all my time on scene 1. Selma University. Classical singing and choral singing. Okay. And what's the citation? LadyDorindaClark.net. So it looks like Dorinda's. So we go to Wikipedia, not to cite Wikipedia, y'all. I'm just saying. We don't do that. Where's the Wayback Machine? When was it taken down? Sitemap. Oh, this is a shame. The original citation seems to be gone. I don't want to cite Wikipedia. That's just lazy. I fuck with Screaming too. I don't know a thing about it, but I do fuck with Screaming. I think it's really interesting. Do we just take it for granted? There's got to be another. Where did MetaMouse Clark study? Malico Records. Thing is, I'm always wary of like trusting sources I don't know. Looks like this is sufficient though. Enough people are saying it. Oh, it's an interesting website name. AI generated image, okay. I'm not hating. This is a mess of a website. Which probably means he's actually a scholar. Because this is not how you do a website. That's okay. We're gonna go with it. There's enough sources saying that it's real. All right, Selma University, and then Musical Genius. I don't like that. Trained musician with a vision. That's vapid to say just call her a genius and be done with it. I hate the word genius. It's nondescript. Like, why is this person a genius? We need the why. We need to qualify everything. I'm anal retentive. Sang in the choir, moved to Detroit when she became the minister of music for all Kojic churches. There's a different church in Twinkie on keyboard and trained choirs. Wow. I only do false fold stuff, but been working on my highs lately. I'm making good progress. That's dope. How are you picking up distortion, like and navigating that from the like considerations of vocal health and all that? Yeah, I agree with you, Damien. It could also be like the way that I have my browser zoomed in is like because I don't have my glasses, so. But yeah, no, it should. I don't know. All that fancy stuff is not necessary. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. It's probably an AI generated website. And again, I'm not hating. I love using AI, but you know, make sure that shit works. What limitations? Also, I don't like disparaging. I don't like disparaging that. I would rather. I like what you're saying, Damien, where she went all over and trained choirs with Twinkie on keyboard. Because I don't want to be like the old gospel. Like, and I want to be very careful of that tone. Kojic, teaching. Contributions, okay, yeah. You know what? There's a there's the interview clip where I have footage for this already. Where she threw the shoe. I would say, like, she committed her life. I want a dramatic statement here. She committed her life to musical bestowing musical excellence in others. Something like that. Dr. Clark subjected her daughters to a famously rigorous training regimen. And this is the TikTok link, I think. Yeah. Yep. Did I put it elsewhere? No. This is this one. What's nice too is, like, I can change the wording. It's like, if the video was it show don't tell. If the video does this better than this, then we replace my spoken word. I want one of the things I really want to do with my video editor is have him replace the spoken word with primary source quotes. Like, I really want that. Honestly, now that I can use a lot less air, it doesn't feel that far from throat bass in terms of wearing down your throat. When I'm pushing super high or super low, it gets worse, but still manageable. That's what I figured it would be like. Man, do you have a demo? You, like, I would love if you, like, walked through it. If you, like, have time. I don't know, are you still posting? Because if you're posting, I wouldn't mind, like, your thoughts on, because, you know, we're both kind of, we think in terms of, like, very, you know, we like to be very specific and we think a certain way. So if you express how you did it, and you have to me in the past a little bit, but in the past you said that the way you were doing it was you were using a lot of air. And that's, like, it's not that I'm against that in principle. It's in practice for me, it's not applicable because my training has been to do the opposite of that. But if there's a way that can be corrected, I would love to pick up more distortion. That would be great. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you sending that on Discord. Changed it from subjected. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, subjected is so I'll reword this a little bit and make it better. So dedicated was Dr. Clark to. I don't like that. It's probably clearer to say more simply. Dr. Clark was so dedicated to the proliferation of musical literacy, not literacy, proliferation of musical knowledge that she put her daughters through famously. This is one of those things. This is some AI nonsense. The use of the word crucible here, it's like, oh, they're talking about religion. Might as well throw it in there. And I'm like, listen, AI, okay, listen, all right. Maybe we don't use biblical language haphazardly. Like maybe we don't take something precious to people and just like throw it in there for the sake of YOLO, you know. And this is one where this is like childhood versus education use video. This is one of those things where like we can't pretend it didn't happen. It would be disingenuous, but it's disrespectful to say it on the daughter's behalf or Maddie's behalf, in my opinion. This demands primary source citation, in my opinion. I don't know anything musically, but there's a couple of videos Dorinda mainly teaching others how to sing. Yeah, I could see that. So this is the conflict. So I have to set this up for storytelling purposes. But if there's a conflict between mother and daughter, it ain't going to be me who says it. The proliferation instead of to the enrichment of lives through musical knowledge that she. You're talking about instead of put, right? Instead of put them through it. I think I like put them through it because I don't think there's anything wrong with putting your kid through training. But maybe that's me. Let's see the after. There was a kind of new musical fluency. It was a new kind of musical fluency. Boom. Because that's true. And it's cool. And we can be succinct. Yeah. I was watching some interview clips here and there, and I think I mentioned it. This, I'm just going to remove the second sentence. In general, I think for the fourth event and the outcome, I think making it really succinct is more powerful. But I haven't written enough yet to know if I want event 4 to consistently be one sentence. All right, so we have an activity that sets up potential. All right. Dr. Clark normally pass through, and then one of the things that I want to qualify, like what makes it musically intelligent. And I almost think like a compilation. I think like that would be nice. I do hear what you're saying, Cherish, and I'm glad you cherish the use of words because I do think it's important. Yeah, the connotation of you're very right to point out the word in the use of subjected, because like from what I can tell, the sisters had like a love-hate relationship with, like they don't regret it. It was just hard, but that's okay. And but like subjected has a connotation that's I think a little too negative. Probably pass the creative torch to her daughter Twinkie. This needs to be fact checked. Scene 2, statement 1. Let's see if the link is legit, and then I actually gotta get back to work in like a few minutes.
Around.
Okay. And right around the 38-second mark. Okay. Did I finally get it? No. Okay. I have this stupid fly that will not die. This is worth navigating. This is a difficult thing. And I wanted more interview footage of them talking about this. Oh, I love unsolicited advice on this matter. Like I'm working on this. I don't consider myself a writer at all. I consider myself opinionated. There's a great Ira Glass has had like a quote, and he's like, you know, if you make things, if you're a creative person and you make things, there's going to be years, a period of years. Sorry, hold on. Where what you make is a little disappointing to you because you have taste. You know, so your taste gets you into it, but your taste is also why you're disappointed in yourself. And it takes a long time and a large body of work to overcome that. So like I've just accepted that my first few video essays are going to suck, but I also like deliberate practice and deliberate improvement, right? So Twinkie talked about that a lot. The songs she wrote were too worldly because it had a beat. Plus, it was in their movie when she sampled Stevie Wonder for their hit Sunshine song. Track right here. Thanks, Gemini. Wow, that's impressive. Do we have a timestamp? And then this is 3, so this will be conflict. Church Liz didn't like the idea. Good job. Good job, Gemini. Fantastic. Now, are these links active? They are. Well, that one is. This is not bad. Oh, that's not a conflict, is it? Oops. There's conflict. I just need to check if this link is active. All right, time to end the stream and get to work, but we got through the first scene. Nice. Awesome. Unsung talks about it. I have a couple of other interviews, mainly from 2020, where they were doing interviews for their movie. I wouldn't mind grabbing also, like, one of the things that I learned from listening to the James Cone NPR interview, and I'll say this and then I gotta go. The NPR interview with James Cone, he talks about like how important religion is to the Black experience. Now, I'm not gonna inject that. It's not for me to inject that into it. But I think it's worth pointing out how painful it must have been to be ridiculed by spiritual leaders. I think that needs to land. Because I imagine it was truly painful. So, like, this is not a benign consequence. It's like, oh, they pissed off some people. No. They pissed off people that mattered to them. That's different, right? These aren't like randos. So I think that would be worth getting into. All right. I got a piece. So I can pay the bills. I hear you should do that. Can't make videos if I don't pay the electricity bill, y'all. All right. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate the tidbits. I know these live streams have been short, but by keeping them short, I know I'm going to push myself to do them, and I hope to stream maybe 5 to 6 days a week. 7 would be nice, but let's be real. It's nice to have a day off. But yeah, awesome. Thanks, y'all. Glad you got a sneak peek and that you could see my workflow and kind of how I'm going about things. And yeah, glad you're here for it. Appreciate y'all.